Can anyone imagine that Bollywood film director Kabir Khan is on the panel of National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and his anti-Pakistan movies like Phantom are raw-funded? And Kabir's visit to Pakistan during last week of April 2016 was for a purpose. He was given task by his handlers Ajit Doval and Ra to calm down voices raised in Pakistan after catching alleged Indian master spy, a serving Indian naval officer Commander Kulbhushan Yadav. You would not have imagined even in your dream that United States can use its HARP technology to trigger a 7.1 magnitude earthquake that hit Pakistan in April 2016. Had you? Well, all this and many more groundbreaking revelations can be easily found on Pakistani news channel. Perhaps rest of the world needs to learn from Pak media how to see everything through a special prism. Understand the importance of timing of any event and how to connect the dots to understand whole game. Media play a big role in shaping psyche of a community or nation. And most of times, media also reflects thinking or thought process of the same community. It will not be realistic to say that media is a 100% reflection of a community, but we can safely keep that figure at 50 to 60%. If someone follows Pakistan's media, both state and private, he will be compelled to notice that barring few exceptions, almost entire media is obsessed with one assumption, Pakistan is a target of international conspiracy. It does not matter if they are discussing any act of terrorism or war in Pakistan, Muslim world, bad state of Pakistan's economy or Pakistan's law and order situation. They will somehow conclude the debate by blaming some international power for conspiring against sole nuclear power state of Islamic world, Pakistan. There are around 30 news channels in Pakistan, and fortunately they hold 1 to 2 talk shows every day, which is a very positive sign for any community, as it shows that community as a whole want to discuss issues encircling them. But the way most of these talk shows are conducted, proceed and end is very interesting. In most of these talk shows, there will at least one retired Army general or Air Force officer in the panel of the guest, who would be asked for his analysis on just about everything, be it politics, geopolitics, impact of politics or geopolitics on Pakistan, Muslim world, terrorism, security matters, economic situation and economic policies of Pakistan, and sometimes even on sports. While anywhere else in the world, guest panel is finalized on the basis of expertise of people on the subject in hand. They discuss all pros and cons, argue in favor of the subject or against it, and discuss every aspect, good or bad. But this simple logic seems to fail in Pakistan, where anyone from the establishment or supporter of the establishment is treated as a master of all trades. Sometimes entire panel is hand-picked and represents a particular mindset, which will drive the discussion in a desired direction. I am not saying that everyone involved in Pakistan's print, electronic, social media is a conspiracy theorist. There are few sane minds who challenge such conspiracy theories and project more realistic picture of overall situation. However, their number is not good enough to change the situation in near future. Let's see how these hawks try to change public opinion by covering country's mistakes and by projecting that the bad state of Pakistan is due to a grand international conspiracy designed and executed by almost entire world except their all-weather friend China. Terrorism. Hawks blame RA and CIA for almost all terrorist activities in Pakistan. They will claim with conviction that RA and CIA created TTP, Tehrik-e-Pakistan Taliban. They will not project true history of creation of Taliban and separation of TTP from Taliban. Taliban were created by Pakistan itself during Afghan Jihad. It was massively funded by CIA to fight against Soviet occupation of Afghanistan. Basically, USA was playing same game against Soviet that Soviet played in Vietnam, where USSR supported native resistance against USA and defeated USA. USA wanted to train and fund native militia to resist USSR forces. Saudi Arabia had promised to match USA's budget allocation in this regard. They had their money taps open. Secretly, Pakistan used a lot of this fund to further fund separatist groups of Punjab and Kashmir. End result of almost 10-year-long Afghan jihad was withdrawal of Soviet forces from Afghanistan and eventual collapse of USSR. Having achieved its objective in Afghanistan, USA moved out and did not do anything to rehabilitate Taliban, who are basically mercenaries. Pakistan was in no mood to do so either. In Taliban, Pak army found a very cheap and safe state tool to bleed and defeat their arch-rival India. If we could increase cost of occupation of USSR in Afghanistan to such a point where USSR was forced to vacate Afghanistan, and was eventually disintegrated. So why can't we repeat the same model in India? Was the thinking of top Pak army brass. They shifted a significant number of jihadis from Afghanistan to Kashmir. Pakistan preserved the jihadi culture. After 9/11, Pakistan had no choice but to side with USA. President Musharraf took this opportunity to gain support of the USA and rest of the world, to consolidate his illegal position. Taliban rulers of Afghanistan stopped getting same kind of economic, moral and logistic support from Pak as they used to get. Moreover, Musharraf gave few air bases to US Air Force to operate from. When Taliban started getting killed in Afghanistan, a fraction of it got separated from Taliban and formed TTP. TTP made Pak's KPK province, then Northwest Frontier Province, and Frontier Belt as their base. They declared jihad against the state of Pakistan, which was a partner of killing of Muslims in general and Taliban in particular in Afghanistan by the USA and occupation force. But hawks of Pak media will not discuss any of this and will portray a different picture. They will straight away blame USA for abandoning Pak after withdrawal of Soviet forces from Afghanistan, as if USA should have adopted Pakistan. They would go on by saying, "We have been fighting USA's war in this region since Soviet occupation of Afghanistan in 1979. For America's war in Afghanistan, we created Taliban and allowed millions of Afghan refugees in Pak. Refugees brought culture of narcotics and Kalashnikov with them, which tore apart our social fabric. After the Afghan jihad, it was Amrika Bahadur's responsibility to help us rehabilitate Taliban and refugees, but USA abandoned us." This way they narrate a nice story of USA being responsible for creation and continuous existence of Taliban, which eventually led to 9/11 and then to USA's invasion of Afghanistan and its fallout in Pakistan. They hold RA responsible for creating and funding TTP. In short, rest of the world is responsible for present law and order situation of Pak. Hawks would never mention that Pakistan never wanted Taliban to disappear after Afghan jihad. Pak establishment helped Taliban to capture Kabul and to run the government there. Pak was the first country to recognize Taliban rule in Afghanistan and provided all needed moral, economic and logistic support. Pak used to give 50,000 liters of oil to Taliban every day. All this was done to maintain "strategic depth" in Afghanistan. Now when that strategy has backfired, they need someone to blame. Kalabagh Dam. Outside Pakistan, few people know that last major dams built in Pakistan were Mongla and Tarbela Dam during 1960s and 1970s. Since then they have not built any dam, and for last 4 decades, Pak has been trying to make consensus to build Kalabagh Dam. Time and again, some political party or state would show some reservation over rehabilitation of displaced people, share of electricity generated, distribution of water, etc. Few sane minds would blame Pak authorities and politicians, but hawks would straight away blame India. As per them, India has bought politicians and NGOs in Pakistan who have been working against construction of Kalabagh Dam. Indian RA is hell-bent to ensure that Kalabagh Dam plan does not turn into reality, because the dam will change face of Pakistan as it would generate required power to fuel Pakistani industry. India thinks that an economically strong Pak is more dangerous than a nuclear Pakistan. India has violated Indus Water Treaty and has started making 100+ small or large dams. India's aim is to ensure that not a drop of water should enter Pakistan, thereby gradually turning Pak from water-stressed country to a water-scarce country and finally, into a desert. Whenever a flood hits Pakistan, these hawks will not blame Pakistan's bad planning. They find an easy way out: blame India, because as per them, India is building illegal dams and releasing extra water, which cause flood. India has waged water terrorism on Pakistan, and entire world community is quite. Earthquakes and floods could be man-made natural disasters. Probably Pakistan is the only country where you will find experts sitting on national TV, finding hand of USA's HAARP, High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, behind most of the natural disaster. HAARP is actually jointly funded by U.S. Air Force, U.S. Navy, University of Alaska and DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. Its purpose was to check potential of ionosphere for radio communication and surveillance. POC experts claim that U.S. uses HAARP to send high-frequency energy radiations in ionosphere that causes weather changes, which result in heat waves, floods and earthquakes. Any decent elementary school book will tell you that earthquakes are a result of movement of tectonic plates and humans have no potential whatsoever to influence that. Looks like such books have not been able to make much headway in Pakistan. You can find number of such bizarre groundbreaking revelations in Pakistani media. Purpose of the international conspiracy. Even if, for a moment, we buy these theories, one wonders why entire world is conspiring against Pakistan? Conspiracy theorists have an answer ready. It is because Pakistan is the only nuclear-armed Islamic country in the world and all major covert and overt powers, USA, India, Israel, Western world in general, CIA, RA, Mossad etc., want to denuclearize Pakistan. As per these experts, Pakistan is the only Muslim country of the world that has both nuclear weapon and missiles to deliver the weapon, and it is Pak's duty to provide nuclear umbrella to all brotherly Muslim countries. This makes Pakistan most powerful country of Islamic world and a natural leader of Islamic world. And this is the fact that haunts foreign powers, and they are hell-bent to stop Pakistan from becoming leader of Islamic world, a dream that Z.A. Bhutto saw in 1970s. Because of military might of Pakistan, foreign powers cannot afford to invade Pakistan, thus they have resorted to such conspiracies. Foreign powers have ganged up against Pakistan. TTP's terrorism, Indian-sponsored insurgency in Baluchistan, law and order situation in Karachi, sectarian war in Pakistan, water terrorism by India etc. All these are well-coordinated methods to achieve one aim: denuclearize Pakistan. Aim of these conspiracies is to weaken Pak internally, economically, politically, security-wise etc., to such a degree that world community can be convinced that Pakistan is a destabilized, failed state and its nuclear arsenal should be handed over to IAEA, otherwise these weapons could fall in terrorists' hands. If media does not retrospect honestly and injects society with such slow poison, country will never be able to take corrective measures. They will continue on the same path that leads to religious extremism, jihad and conflict with neighboring countries. After all, such propaganda gives much needed oxygen to anti-India and anti-US sentiment, which is so necessary for the rule of establishment in Pakistan. If there is no anti-India sentiment, Pak establishment fears that it will lose its relevance and the power share it has been enjoying for last 68 years. This is one of the reasons that they continue to back or support such hawks in media. If there are such patriots in any country who are poisoning the society with lies and conspiracy theories, do they really need any external enemy?